What's going on, everyone? We're going to take a look at how to trade better, and in this one we're going to learn how to read SEC filings. I'm sure a lot of you are curious on this one, so I'm going to break it down, go into a lot of detail, and hopefully allow everyone to be able to read these easily, because it's really not that hard. Let's go and take a look. So a quick recap: last time we learned the importance of self-research as it gives you a head start from the media, clear view of what's going on, and allows you to better form your own psychology from the first trading decision that you make. Resources discussed were the Federal Register, Edgar full text search system, and the company email registration alerts that you can sign up for, 10Ks, proxy statements, etc. I will go ahead and put a card up above. If you haven't seen that one yet, you can go ahead and catch up before moving on to this one. Now, I don't normally do this, but I am shadow banned, so a lot of you have recommended that I start making sure I ask people to hit the like button, because apparently it helps the algorithm, helps people find me. So if you don't mind doing that, that would be much appreciated. Again, I do not like asking for that, but a lot of people have told me that it could help the problem that I have with being shadow banned. So whole point of these videos is to get this info out there, because a lot of misinformation comes from not knowing things like this. So real quick, just a couple of interesting points here. 90% of traders fail to make money when trading the stock market. Now that stat is broken down into 80% lose, 10% break even, and 10% make money consistently. To be successful in trading the stock market, you need to do what the majority of traders don't do. So it's a common misconception when everyone's jumping on discords with the same people, under the same mindset, under the same play. You're never going to be as good as the persons who set up that play. So again, do things that the majority of traders don't do. Now that may seem like a simple view because you don't know what you don't know, but the way you go about doing this is research. That is what no one does, because they rely on everyone else to do that for them. And then the people actually doing the research get to distribute that knowledge how they wish. And by the way, a great formula: knowledge plus experience plus effort equals success. 2 of the 3 won't work. You need all 3. So to the filings. Learning to trade is the easy part. I mean, anyone can, put money in the market and hit the sell and the buy button. That's the easy part. It's the researching and understanding the psychology behind the decisions you make that's hard. So keep in mind, the 9 inches between your ears will determine your success as a trader. That's your brain. So if lack of knowledge is the main reason most traders fail, then psychology comes in a close second, which is exactly why this series started off with mastering your own psychology, which again, I will link that above if you haven't seen that yet. That being said, the key part of market psychology is filings, because you can infer a lot of language from the regulators in the filings themselves if you look close enough. And you can also learn a lot of market terminology, and you learn a lot of rules as well, as far as law and general market rules. So let's go ahead and take a look. And it's also a very helpful way to think of filings like a puzzle that you can dissect by finding little clues within the filings. So the first thing I want to do is look at the heading. Now from the heading, you're going to, and by the way, this is in NSCC 002, the big one we've all been waiting on. Check the header, the date, title, and the filing type. Now there's 6 different types of filings, right? There's a proposal, withdrawal, an amendment, a longer designation for comment, and a longer designation to institute proceedings or hearings. And then, of course, there's the approval. So we can tell by the title here, proposed rule change, that's our type. Our date is March 18th. This is 2021-002, so we're good to go. Next, you'll want to look at for any form of reference in a rule in the first or second section. Terms of substance is typically what it's called, but it may be slightly different depending on the filing. However, usually this is what it will look like, and it'll give you a terms of substance. It'll infer a rule if there is any, and if there is ever a rule that's referenced, always jot that down, look it up, so you can infer what that means. So we can, and luckily in this one they actually go out and tell you what it is right off the bat. So you can see here Rule 4A, supplemental liquidity deposits, and then I looked it up to make sure that that's exactly what it is. Rule 4A, supplemental liquidity deposits. And it also is nice enough to let you know that SLD, which they reference many, many times in the filing after this point, they let you know up front that that means supplemental liquidity deposits. Oftentimes they don't do that. You have to go and look for it yourself. Now, The purpose section. So always try and read and see if you can understand it from the get-go, because oftentimes that is the case. If you just read through it like you're reading a book and just try to infer what they're saying, you will get the gist of what they're trying to say. Now, that's not always. A lot of times you're going to be like, what the heck are they trying to say? You're going to have to look up rules, definitions, things like that. And oftentimes you'll find a little tiny number after a definition that looks something like this, like a 26 or a 25, depending on where you are in the filing. All that is it's called a super note. And whenever you see this number, you're going to want to scroll and look towards the bottom of the page, and you're going to see numbered little notes. And this is just letting you know that this 26 corresponds with super note 26, which will explain to you what the look back period is. So it'll save you some time in researching. So you're going to kind of be bouncing around within the filing itself, between super notes and definitions, things like that. So just keep that in mind. Now, this is a big one, date of effectiveness. So whenever you see the date of effectiveness section, it's going to say within 45 days of the date of publication of this notice in the Federal Register. Now, that's underlined. I think that's funny that they underlined it, because that's what everyone fails to realize whenever we get these filings that show up. So they're not just automatically approved. Even if they're effective immediately, you will not see it approved or implemented until it shows up here on the bottom screenshot, which is the Fed Register. And you can see right here, notice of designation of longer period for commission action and longer period for comment on proposed rule change. So they went ahead and said right here that when this came out, and this was filed on the 12th, they're saying that we need a longer period for comment, so you could insert that date right here. So that's pretty much the gist of how to read the filings. It's not really a whole lot. I mean, most of it is just bouncing around looking up definitions that you're not familiar with, but once you get all that taken care of, it's really pretty straightforward, and you'll be surprised at how much you'll actually learn in the process of looking up these acronyms, rules, things like that. So let me know if you found this helpful. Again, if you did so, please like and share this, because it's hard for me to get views right now. I'm not sure what's going on. And the whole point of this channel is to share this valuable information, to get it out there to as many people as possible. So again, have a good night, and I thank you very much.